Hi, a little Christmas music on the background because tomorrow begins Advent and seems to me like it'd be a good time to listen to a little Christmas music. You may hear a little noise in the background because my wife is doing some things getting ready for Christmas, and she lives here too, you know. What I want to talk about today is why, if this is a Christian mysticism side, if you look at our logo, the Mystic's Way, it's got a cross in there. Why, James? Although you talk a lot about the Bible and you quote a lot of biblical writers and poets, and you quote a lot of poetry and thoughts from Christians, why do you also stick in this stuff from people like Rumi, who's a Sufi, or maybe Kabir, who's a Sufi, or something from the Dhammapada, which is the words of Buddha? Well, I want to talk about that for a minute, and I want to talk about it in terms of something called the perennial philosophy. And the word perennial means it comes up again and again, like a perennial flower. And of course, philosophy, the word philosophy itself, Phileo is love, like in Philadelphia, the city of brotherly love, and Sophia is wisdom, like in the Bible. The word Jesus is called Logos, and you look in Proverbs referred to as Sophia, which, by the way, referring Logos to Sophia and Jesus, I have to say this, which might upset you, but Sophia is a feminine word. It is not masculine. However, does God have a feminine side? You can take it for what it's worth. I think God certainly does. But perennial philosophy, the idea that although there are many different flavors of religion, there's only one God. And this came to a lot of people somewhere between about 1000 BC up to about 500 or 600 AD, and then after that too, but that's called the Axial Age, and many of the great religions emerged then, and they had many things in common. But many things different too. And so, Christians will say Jesus is the only way. And Muslims will say, there's no God but God, and Muhammad is his only prophet, or the only prophet for our day. But really, the people that believe in the perennial philosophy, which are mostly mystics, and mystics are people that want to experience God directly, when they begin to experience God, they begin to realize they were experiencing the same God as the other guy. And so we come across someone like Thomas Aquinas, who was not a mystic, really. In some respect he was, but he said something very insightful, and really the whole Christian edifice in many ways is built upon the philosophy of Thomas Aquinas. And Aquinas said, if you have a glass and it's orange, you have a glass and it's blue, and you have a glass and it's yellow, and you pour water in all of them, you're going to have one's going to look like orange water and blue water and yellow water. He said, but really the water is the same. And he said, really what happens is God adjusts things to who we are, to meet us where we are. So what is truth? The truth is that God is love. And is Jesus the truth? Jesus certainly is the truth for me, as I've experienced Jesus in my heart and my life, but I'm not ready to write off other people and say they don't know God. So on here too, I do quote the Bible. I do quote the great saints of the Christian faith, but I also quote Sufis like Kabir, and like Rumi. I quote from the Dhammapada, which is the Buddhist scriptures. I've been known to quote from the Bhagavad Gita, which is a Hindu scripture. And really, the idea is that there's one God. Like it said in the Shema, the ancient creed of Israel, "Hear, O Israel, the Lord our God, the Lord is one." And the Lord is one. And I guess it just takes on your point of view. Do you believe there is one God, and, somehow or other, the mystics, the people that love God, are all meeting the same God? And I guess for me, I would say yes. And so that's why I have stuff on here on this channel that quotes people other than Christians. But certainly, I do consider myself a Christian. And I also consider myself a lover of God like people from many other faiths. And I hope that clears up some of this about mysticism, the perennial philosophy, and how we might find truth somewhere else because someone knew God just like we do. You all have a great day.